This prisoner is named Riki, and he was no ordinary prisoner. Riki was someone who couldn't be locked up in any prison in the world, because inside him was a strange kind of power. No matter where he was kept, whether in the most secure prison in the world, or even buried underground, he would always find a way out. Breaking out of any prison was no big deal for him. But what exactly had happened with him? And why was he being locked up in all these prisons? That's what we'll see in today's story. At the beginning of the story, a bus full of inmates clears the checkpoints and enters the maximum security private prison. One by one, the prisoners confess their names and crimes in front of the officers. But suddenly, one of them shows his attitude. His name is Riki, sentenced to 10 years for murder. Ignoring the guard's orders, he walks straight through the metal detector. Suddenly, the detector begins to buzz. The guards think Riki is carrying a weapon. But what the X-ray reveals is shocking. They discover 5 bullets lodged in Riki's chest. The guards ask why he never had them removed. Riki replies that he kept them as a memory, and as long as he is alive, they will remain with him. It's clear Riki is no ordinary person. He has an extraordinary power to endure pain. We are then told that this prison is divided into 4 sections, each controlled by prisoners hand-picked by the warden. The warden is the most powerful man in this prison. Next comes the assistant warden, who controls everything in his absence. In the next scene, we see an old man being harassed by a group of inmates. They break his wooden train, something he crafted with great effort for his son. The other prisoners only stand by silently, watching the spectacle, too afraid to intervene. It turns out the old man is due for bail in a few days. But Samuel, the captain's right-hand man, threatens him, "Until I allow it, you will not leave." Hearing this, the old man loses his temper and grabs a wood slicer to attack. But Samuel swiftly catches him and ruthlessly scrapes his face with the same blade. Hearing his screams, the guards arrive. Instead of helping, they allow Samuel to walk away and try to cover up the whole incident. As Samuel moves forward, Riki trips him, and Samuel falls straight onto a bed of nails. Screaming in pain, Samuel writhes, but his men decide it's wiser not to mess with Riki. They rush their boss to the doctor first. Samuel survives, but he loses sight in one eye. Filled with rage, he plans to kill Riki. But one of his men tells him, "Boss, you don't need to do anything yourself. We can have Mad Dragon take care of him." Mad Dragon is a dangerous and terrifying prisoner, known for his endless hunger. Right now, he is in isolation, because he ate the warden's horse. The next day, Samuel bribes the guards and orders them to release Mad Dragon so that he can kill Riki. Meanwhile, we see the old prisoner being called over by a guard. He is told that his early release has been cancelled. Now he must serve his full sentence. Shocked and broken, the old man cries and begs for mercy, but no one spares him any sympathy. Instead, they beat him brutally and walk away, treating him not as a human being but as a useless burden. Crushed by this cruel system, the old man finally kills himself. At night, when the guards see him hanging by a rope, they take his body down. The prisoners whisper among themselves about how he was tortured here, and how Samuel drove him to suicide. Riki sits silently in his cell, listening to it all. When the guards carry the body out, Riki steps in front of them. He says, "He is dead. At least spare him now that he's gone." Riki breaks the dead man's handcuffs. He also repairs the wooden train that the old man had made for his son. But sadly, that boy will never meet his father again. To release the anger boiling inside him, Riki practices kung fu in the raging storm. He realizes that in order to survive here, he must fight every single day. Otherwise, his end will be the same as the old man's. The next day, while all the prisoners are bathing, the guards order everyone to leave. Riki is left alone among them. Moments later, Mad Dragon arrives. Before Riki can react, Mad Dragon lands a powerful punch, sending him flying across the room. At first, Riki doesn't want to fight him. But once he learns that this man has been sent to kill him, he wastes no time. Riki delivers a brutal punch straight to Mad Dragon's stomach, so forceful that his insides spill out. Even after witnessing such a horrific death, Samuel doesn't stop his schemes. He tries to attack Riki, but Riki quickly grabs his hand, breaks his fingers, and pulls out the nail lodged in his own hand as if he feels no pain at all. Hearing Samuel's cries, the guards rush in, but they are too late to save him. By then, Riki has already finished him off. In that moment, no one dares to stop Riki. Yet Riki, without resistance, surrenders himself. As the guards begin to take him away, the captain of the North Block steps in and stops them. Impressed by Riki's strength, he offers Riki a place in his gang. But Riki refuses the offer and walks away. Because of Mad Dragon's punch, the bullets lodged in Riki's chest have shifted, causing him immense pain. But Riki forces himself to ignore the agony and endure it. Meanwhile, we are shown a flashback. A younger Riki is in high school. One day, when he visits his parents' graves, he finds a stranger already there, paying respects. Riki discovers that this man is his uncle, who has always known about Riki's superpowers since childhood. He has been watching over him from afar. But now the time has come to step forward and teach Riki everything he needs to become a great fighter. Riki shows him some of his moves. But as soon as he tries one on his uncle defeats him with a single punch. At that moment, Riki realizes he is not ready yet. His uncle then teaches him how to control both his mind and body. Soon, Riki becomes so strong that he can crush large stones with his bare hands. The story shifts back to the present, and we see Riki has not slept all night. In the morning, the guards take him to the assistant warden's office. The warden's table is piled with food. One of his eyes is fake, and his hand is replaced with a sharp hook. This man is named Sheng. Sheng orders Riki's report to be read. According to it, Riki committed murder. He has no family, no acquaintances. The report also describes him as extremely dangerous and states he should be kept in high-security confinement. Every prisoner must reveal everything about their past life before entering the prison. But in Riki's report, the last 2 years are missing. Sheng asks, "Tell me, where were you during those 2 years? What did you do?" But despite all his threats, he cannot make Riki speak. Finally, the warden shows him a letter sent for him. As Riki reaches to take it, the warden stabs his sharp hook into Riki's hand and rains down a barrage of punches. Inside the letter is a photograph, which the warden cruelly crumples and tears apart with his own hands. Seeing this, Riki becomes so furious that he smashes the warden's table into 2 pieces with his hand. Enraged, the warden fires a bullet at him. But Riki deflects it with his bare hand. He could have killed the warden then and there, but he doesn't. Instead, he gives him one final warning and walks away. That night, Riki sits in his cell, remembering the days when he lived happily with his girlfriend, Keiko. He takes out his flute and plays a melody, the one that always reminds him of her. But just then, a guard arrives and warns him, "If you ever play this tune again, I'll smash this flute to pieces." The next day, some prisoners surround a man because they found out he is the one who leaks information to the guards. And he is also responsible for the old prisoner's death. The man begs for his life and promises never to do it again. But they are not ready to spare him. One of them raises a woodcutter's saw to slice him apart. Just then, Narumi arrives. He declares that no one can kill anyone here without his permission. Lin Hung, holding a weapon, strongly opposes this decision. He says, "When Samuel broke the rules, you let him go. And now, when this man breaks the rules, you're letting him go too. Then what's the point of these rules?" Narumi doesn't like his tone. He feels insulted. From a distance, Sheng watches them. He needs to discuss something important with Narumi, so he calls him to his office and drags Lin along by hooking his mouth. Sheng says, "Because of Riki, the others have grown too bold. If this continues, soon there will be a Riki in every cell. I want you to teach them a lesson. Kill Riki. Once he's gone, the rest will fall back in line." Narumi then appears in the prison yard. He has Lin tied to a giant cross and left to die, so that seeing his condition, no one else dares to rebel. After that, Narumi challenges Riki to a fight. Riki agrees, but only on one condition: Lin must be freed first. Narumi isn't there to bargain. His orders are to kill Riki, nothing else. So, without hesitation, he launches at him. As the fight begins, Narumi throws powdered glass into Riki's eyes, blinding him. Seizing the moment, Narumi slashes the veins in Riki's arm. Riki is losing this fight. But then, all the prisoners start cheering for him. Fueled by their voices, Riki smashes a pipeline and washes his eyes clean with the water. Now, he can see again. As soon as Narumi tries another deadly strike, Riki lands such a powerful blow to his head that Narumi's eyes burst out like popcorn. Riki then ties up his severed veins, healing his arm. Narumi admits defeat. And he stabs himself in the stomach, trying to commit suicide. Riki wants to save him, but as soon as he comes close, Narumi betrays him again, wrapping his intestines around Riki's neck to strangle him. Riki says, "Enough," and delivers such a powerful punch that Narumi's skull shatters into pieces. After that, Riki lowers Lin from the cross, but sadly, he is already dead. All the prisoners unite and start protesting against the warden. They surround Sheng in a mob. But before they can kill him, the captains of another block intervene. One of them smashes a prisoner's head open. Terrified, the rest hide behind Riki. They want Riki to fight them. But Riki refuses. He grieves that too many have already died because of him, and he does not want more bloodshed. He lifts Lin's body onto his shoulders and begins to walk away. Sheng asks Riki if he wants to become the new captain in Narumi's place. But Riki gives no answer. He is not a pet dog to obey the warden's orders. We then see Narumi's adopted son, Alan, who is heartbroken by his father's death. He hears Riki play a tune on a leaf and tries to imitate the sound himself, but fails. Riki walks over to him and gently shows him the right way. He also apologizes for what happened to Narumi. But then Riki notices Alan has been silent for too long. Looking closer, he realizes Alan's tongue has been cut out. Riki feels terrible for him. In the end, Riki gives Alan his flute, so that he can play music even without a tongue. In return, Alan offers Riki some poppy leaves. Riki asks, "Where did you get this?" Growing them is illegal. That's when Alan reveals the prison's darkest secret: behind the four walls, they are farming opium, a powerful drug. Yaming is standing at a distance, overhearing everything. Now that Riki knows the truth, he becomes a threat to them. The three captains hold a meeting to decide what to do next. Ming summons Alan and tells him that Riki killed his father. She insists that it is time for him to take revenge. To fuel his anger, they show him Narumi's corpse, skinned and mutilated, claiming Riki did it. Alan knows Riki is not that cruel. When he refuses to believe them, Ming, enraged, kills him as well and throws his body into the yard like garbage. A crowd of prisoners gathers to see it. A little later, Riki arrives. When he sees his flute lying beside the body, he realizes it is Alan. Another innocent life lost. This time, Riki cannot endure it. He vows not to spare anyone. Moments later, the fire alarm rings, and chaos spreads through the prison. Ming discovers that Riki has set the entire opium farm ablaze, burning years of work to ashes. Furious beyond measure, she strikes Riki at his weakest point. Riki writhes in agony while the prisoners watch his suffering like a spectacle. Meanwhile, Sheng learns that the warden is coming tomorrow. The news terrifies him, for if the warden learns the truth, Sheng is doomed. But Riki soon recovers from Ming's attack, something she never thought possible. Shocked, Ming realizes survival is impossible, yet insists that tonight will be Riki's last night alive. They stab his body with sharp needles and stitch him up like a sack of flour. Kitamakura is about to finish him off when an announcement interrupts: any prisoner not in their cell will be shot. The guards open fire, but their bullets target only Riki. Somehow, he escapes death and runs into a chamber. Suddenly, the entire room begins filling with cement. Riki tears through the iron gate and escapes, even saving Kitamakura's life in the process. When the warden learns Riki is still alive, he is disappointed. Soon, the cement hardens on Riki's body, turning him into something like statue. Riki crashes to the ground, encased in cement. Sheng orders, "Erase all the evidence. The warden is coming tomorrow. First, I have to welcome him properly. I'll deal with this later." The next day, all the guards line up to welcome the warden. Hours pass in the scorching sun, yet there is no sign of him. Some guards grow tired and begin to nod off where they stand. Suddenly, a car appears, and everyone snaps to attention. The warden arrives with his spoiled son, who stumbles on the carpet while fooling around. Enraged, the warden demands, "Who laid this carpet?" Sheng quickly drags a prisoner forward and lies, "Sir, it was him." Without a second thought, the warden gouges the prisoner's eyes out. He then asks Sheng, "What happened here in my absence?" The question makes Sheng break into a sweat. He cannot lie anymore. He admits, "Some prisoners rebelled, so we had to kill a few of them." The warden replies, "Every month, someone dies here. You know we can't get cheaper labor anywhere else in the country. Don't let them die of hunger or disease. Keep them alive so the work continues." That much, he tolerates. But when he learns someone has burned down his opium farms, the shock nearly gives him a heart attack. Sheng rushes to press on his chest, saving his life. Still, the warden's fury can only be eased by killing Riki. Meanwhile, Riki remains trapped in hardened cement. But as soon as the warden appears before him, Riki shatters the thick cement shell and grabs him by the neck. He is about to kill him when Kitamakura attacks from behind with a powerful kick. He traps Riki's hands in the iron bars and beats him mercilessly. Not stopping there, he grabs Riki's head and squeezes so hard that blood begins pouring from his skull. Before Kitamakura can tear Riki apart, Riki strikes back, landing a devastating punch to Kitama's jaw. His jaw bursts open like a watermelon. Seeing Kitamakura defeated, the warden presses a button, and the prison ceiling begins to descend. Riki tries with all his strength to stop the hydraulic press, but he no longer has enough power left. On top of that, the warden shocks him with a stun gun, unleashing 10,000 volts into his body, weakening him even further. In his obsession to kill Riki, the warden forgets that Kitama is still trapped underneath. Realizing he's been betrayed, Kitama helps Riki and urges him to save himself. Riki barely manages to escape, but poor Kitama is crushed to death under the massive press. Riki moves forward to finish the warden, but the warden presses another button, and Riki falls straight into a deep pit. He is later dragged out, chained, and brought before all the prisoners. The warden orders them to take turns burying Riki alive. Some prisoners protest the cruelty, refusing to participate in Riki's execution. The warden immediately has them gunned down. Terrified, the rest begin burying Riki one by one. The warden declares, "We will dig him out in 7 days. If he survives until then, all his mistakes will be forgiven." But it's nothing but a charade. The warden knows no one can survive that long without food or water. To mock the idea of mercy, they place a pipe near Riki's mouth so he can breathe, and then bury him in the dirt. All the inmates whisper about Riki, believing he must already be dead. But suddenly, a melody rises from beneath the ground. Riki is playing a tune with his mouth. Hearing it, the prisoners erupt in joy, realizing he is still alive. Nearby, a dog wanders into the yard. Ming kills it and stuffs its liver into the breathing pipe to cut off Riki's oxygen supply. The story then flashes back. We see Riki's girlfriend, Keiko. One day, returning from the library, she stumbles upon some men doing drugs. Frightened, she tries to flee, but they catch her and drag her to a hotel. They plan to rape and kill her. When Keiko regains consciousness, she manages to escape, and before they can catch her, fearing dishonor, Keiko jumps from the roof and commits suicide. When Riki learns of this, he is consumed with rage. He goes straight to the drug dealer responsible. Seeing him, the man fires bullet after bullet at Riki. But Riki endures the gunfire, advancing steadily until he kills the man. That was his only crime, the reason he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Meanwhile, 7 days have passed. It is time to dig Riki's body out. Using a machine, the warden personally orders the excavation. To everyone's shock, when they check his pulse, Riki is still alive. The warden realizes Riki is no ordinary human. Befriending him could be useful. They lock him up again. Later, as the warden reviews Riki's report, he notices some details are missing. He demands, "What are you hiding from us? Tell me, or these men will kill you." But even after brutal torture, Riki remains silent. Ming knows he won't open his mouth so easily. She stuffs blades into Riki's mouth, and then slaps him repeatedly. The blades slice his cheeks and tongue, filling his mouth with blood. Yet Riki still refuses to break. Finally, they throw him back into his cell, starving and dehydrated. That night, however, another prisoner secretly sneaks food to him. Eating it gives Riki a bit of strength. But a prison informant sees this and alerts the guards. Soon after, Shing storms into the helpful prisoner's cell, kills him, and drags his body to Riki's cell. When Riki doesn't respond to their taunts, Shing enters with guards. Upon realizing that the man who fed him has been killed, Riki explodes with fury and brutally beats the Shing. Shing barely escapes with his life, but the other inmates chase him down, capture him, and beat him savagely. Chaos erupts. Riots break out between guards and prisoners, plunging the entire prison into bedlam. Meanwhile, unaware of the full scale of the riot, the warden is conducting an inspection. During his rounds, he overhears a prisoner making an insulting remark about his son. Enraged, the warden cuts off the prisoner's hands as punishment, to make sure no one ever dares insult his son again. Just then, Riki appears. The warden fires a special kind of bullet at him, one designed to explode inside the body after entry. Riki grabs the Sheng and uses him as a shield. The bullets tear through the Sheng's body and explodes inside him. Now Riki stands alone, facing all of them. Ming launches a series of deadly attacks, but Riki shatters her legs. The second captain, terrified by what he sees, tries to run away, but the warden himself kills him on the spot. At last, it's just Riki and the warden face to face. Riki throws a powerful punch that sends the warden flying across the room, but shockingly, the warden doesn't have a single scratch. He soon reveals his true self, transforming into a monstrous form. It turns out that, just like Riki, he too possesses superhuman powers, but he must take on this horrifying form to unleash them. Riki smashes a fist straight through the warden's stomach, but the monster feels nothing. Beaten and battered, Riki is nearly finished, until he recalls his uncle's words, "Every monster has a weakness. Find it, and strike there." Riki notices a meat grinder running nearby. Summoning all his strength, he lifts the monstrous warden and throws him into it. The grinder tears the warden's body apart, shredding him into pieces. Yet even as his body is destroyed, the warden refuses to surrender, trying to drag Riki in with him. The room fills with blood, but Riki doesn't back down. He pushes with all his might, forcing the warden deeper inside until nothing remains but his severed head. Riki takes it and walks out. Meanwhile, chaos rages outside as guards and inmates battle each other. Riki appears before them, declaring that the warden is dead and they are free. Finally, Riki smashes through the prison walls, creating a path to freedom for all the prisoners. The story ends here.